Fantastic Four is quickly becoming 2025's answer to the question of, oh, did that movie come out this year or what did that? No, it's a strange marketing campaign from Pedro Pascal running out his own personal politics at the behest of everyone else. Vanessa Kirby coming out first and foremost by saying that we're going to be focusing on the gender politics and the gender relations in this, and Johnny Storm coming out and also admitting that we'll show a little bit more about his cuckery, and well, the only one that we haven't really heard about is the Thing, arguably the coolest member of the Fantastic Four, at least at one point in time the most popular member of the Fantastic Four. He got his own spin-off series, and hell, he even got replaced temporarily in the Fantastic Four by She-Hulk because he was that guy, okay? Like, he's a sentient Hulk, for Christ's sake. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do with him, but unfortunately none of those will be investigated in this abysmal looking movie, because every time it's so funny, right? Because Superman just came out and it did, well, relatively well, all things considered. And, well, I would imagine that I don't really know how much you could chalk up to the success of that film based on its marketing strategy, but I could say it might have been hurt by the number of clips and especially by the number of interviews that it was given, because it set quite a divisive tone. We'll have to see what happens in the second week, and I'd imagine, yeah, when we get drop-offs and comparables, we'll be able to figure out exactly what ended up happening as a result of that marketing campaign. But yeah, whenever I see anything about the Fantastic Four, like, it just absolutely encourages me to avoid this film at all costs. Avoid. I was already put off by, Pedro Pascal as a Mr. Fantastic. I know a lot of people say he's a good actor. Okay, Oberyn Martell, oh, he's such a great character in Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's so wonderful, man. You meet him doing Pedro Pascal's favorite pastime in a brothel. And then he gets his head popped like a zit by Half-Thor Bjornsson. Okay, cool. I guess I can probably come around to your guys' side saying that he was a fantastic character, but honestly, I've never been I've never been overwhelmed by him. I've been sufficiently whelmed by his performances, okay, but to be fair, I haven't watched The Last of Us, mostly because I just wasn't at all engaged with the premise of that, and the rest of his movies, it's like, the guy's never talked me into the theater, long story short, and for the rest of them, like, I've heard that Vanessa Kirby is good casting, but that's an old bitch, especially if she's going to be cranking out kids. And like, I didn't watch Stranger Things, so I don't have anything to say about Joseph Quinn, and I don't watch The Bear because, let me just check, yep, that's right, straight white guy, so I don't really care about cooking shows, let alone fictional cooking shows, so spare me. The one thing that I'm slightly interested in is something that we're very likely to get in other movies, and that's Ralph Ineson as Galactus. Once again, the only interesting aspect of a specific piece of media, Final Fantasy 16 piece of shit. But all things considered, that game is probably going to be better than this movie. And yeah, once again, it's going to be more wasted talent. And yeah, coming back to just another clip that it's like, bro, stop releasing this stuff. Stop it. It's already dead at this point in time, because yeah, here we have, Mr. Fantastic leading a press conference about how he negotiated with Galactus. How the hell exactly do you do that? I don't know specifically. Maybe talking about a conversation that your wife had with the Silver Surfer or some shit. Like, I don't really know, man. I don't know. I don't care. There's going to be more context to this, but frankly, it doesn't really matter. Okay, but yeah, let's take a look. Okay, because the new teaser for the Fantastic Four is out. God, please, just let it be the final teaser.
Could you take us through how you defeated Galactus?
We didn't.
Not yet. Not yet, we didn't.
Well, like, at least somebody up there is, giving a little bit of hope and a little bit of optimism. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. How are you going to defeat Galactus? I don't know. I just want to start crying, and won't somebody please just cave my head in with a golf club, and then the Thing just going, oh, fucking know. But at least, at least the Human Torch is like, not yet. We haven't, don't give up hope quite yet. So that's good-ish.
We attempted to negotiate, but Galactus, he asked too high a price.
Wow, imagine that. Okay, cool. He is overwhelmed by the enormity of Galactus. Okay, I kind of understand that, but also, it's like, can we have one teaser, one trailer, one piece of content where we just simply show Mr. Fantastic being capable? Can we do that? Okay, instead of just him admitting defeat or just being overwhelmed by the moment. Can we just do that? No?
Well, what does he want?
What did he ask?
He asked for our child.
Cool. It's so great where you have and I understand, giving up a kid and all that stuff. That's very traumatic. And, yes, that is a high price. But a team of heroes putting the need of one above the needs of the many. Not exactly a heroic group. And maybe if you wanted to keep that a little bit on the back burner, you could have done that. But no, there will be more context to this, and I'm sure it'll make it better.
Answer this. Are we safe?
Are we safe?
What the fucking Galactus is like?
I don't know.
Oh, so cool. Yeah. Once again, Mr. Fantastic, the smartest man in the world. God, it's so bad. But hey, don't worry. The one guy that I gave praise to, at least he can get cucked. That'll be fun, right?
Light him up, Johnny!
She was right here. And?
Oh God, can we just focus like real quick on that CGI, because holy God, man, not like, okay, he's fine-ish, even though he's in the atmosphere. How the fuck are you breathing? But okay, maybe that explains, the wonky eye. What's with superhero movies in 2025 and wonky eyes for characters? But speaking of which, going to the Silver Surfette here, it's just okay. I said this before, man, but they nailed it. They nailed it back in 2002. Okay, Gollum, his eyes are immaculate still to this very day. It lends. That's the word that I'm looking for. Lends a lot to the believability that, when you're watching the Sam, Frodo and Gollum stuff in Two Towers, and especially Return of the King, like, you kind of forget that that's Andy Serkis in a mocap suit. You forget that that's not like a real thing in Gollum. This right here, I'm very well aware that that's just a work of CGI. Okay, like her eyes, they don't look right. They gave her eyeshadow, and it just highlights. They're too bright, or there's something off. I think that they're overlit. It's weird.
And Johnny thinks they had a moment.
Okay.
Oh, cool. So it's love at first sight with silver alien that has a voice like a fast food drive-through worker. All right.
I get it. Johnny loves space. Johnny loves women.
What's the plan?
I'm gonna charm her. Last question. So the surfboard, is that part of your body, or is that...
So she dumped you already?
Marvel Studios, the fan.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so, hey, man, how classic Human Torch, like, he's a womanizer, he's a ladies' man, but this time around, he has the riz of a grade schooler. I love it. I'm so glad. This is why everybody's looking forward to this. Some foundational Marvel characters looking like dorks. God, it's so wonderful. Isn't it great? I'm so totally looking forward to this. But hey, for as bad as the marketing has been, I at least got to give some credit to what is probably going to be the worst character in the Ooh, could it be? Ooh, because the Invisible Woman does have a pretty high chance of being pretty bad, but I would imagine female Silver Surfer is probably going to be pretty bad, especially with the reshoots going back, really trying to fill in her backstory, like how this is going to be a Galactus, Silver Surfer, and then Fantastic Four movie in that order when it comes to prominence and importance, even though the Fantastic Four is supposed to be central characters to Avengers Doomsday coming up, which... God damn it, man. Like, Superman looks like a really bad movie. From everything that I've heard, from the reviews that I've watched and listened to the breakdowns that I have listened to and re-listened to, it's just like, it doesn't seem like something for me. But I at least have more enthusiasm and more hope behind the DCU and what could potentially come, because I think, like, until the end of time, like, Marvel's just gonna suck. It's gonna be the same sludge pipe. It's gonna be the same rinse and repeat. Oh, this is the best thing, we're so back. And then a week later, everybody's like, oh, this was actually like a really bad movie, and oh, it flopped. I don't know why it continues to do that. But hey, get excited for the next big team up movie, because we could have more keys jangled in front of our face. Just when are we gonna have an earnest conversation about just the degradation of art? But I guess that's another topic for another time. But hey, good news, everyone. I can at least praise plays a Marvel actress. Julia Garner dismisses backlash to her casting as Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four. I'm just going to still do my job. Okay, but I already got a dock remarks for just poor grammar. I'm just going to still do my job. It should be, I'm just going to do my job, I'm going to still do my job, or I'm going to do my job. One of those things, but I'm just still going to do my job. It's kind of like I'm never not going to be the Silver Surfer. Just... whatever, man. Okay. Julia Garner, set to portray the female iteration of the Silver Surfer in Marvel's upcoming film, The Fantastic Four First Steps, has spoken out about the initial fan criticism surrounding her role. Speaking to the BBC at the film's London premiere, Garner dismissed concerns of the character's gender, emphasizing her focus on performance rather than online discourse. I said, I'm just going to still do my job, she stated, addressing complaints at some fans who argued that the Silver Surfer should remain male. Yeah, I know, like Gary Nerdrotic is very vocal about that being a deal breaker for him. For me, it's just she lacks any kind of presence, and I'm not necessarily against a female Silver Surfer, not because it was in the comic books. I don't give a fuck about adaptation arguments. It's just, I mean, like, look at the bitch. She looks fucking pathetic, and we're supposed to be scared of her? Like, get over yourself. She clarified that her character is Shalabal, a distinct figure from the comics, yes, adding, yeah, also it's Shalabal, so it's different. Yeah, okay. And again, you know, she's trying to appeal to an adaptation argument. I don't care. Be a good character. Maybe you are. It would be fantastic if you were. I'm just not convinced at all. Okay, casting announcement in early 2024 sparked debate. Yeah, I remember doing a video on it when it came out at the time, going, it's fucking dumb, because if you wanted to have a female Herald of Galactus, Frankie Ray Nova is out there. You could go ahead and do that. Go for it. But no. You decided that, yeah, you wanted the most iconic. You wanted the most iconic Herald of Galactus. You wanted Silver Surfer. But you also needed to make her a female because there's not enough women in this story. And so good for you. You found an interesting way to go ahead and shoehorn in another, because instead of, introducing a proper Norrin Rad, because, yeah, Silver Surfer and Galactus are more than likely going to carry over to, Doomsday and beyond. There's going to be a couple of holdovers from, old Marvel to Marvel post Secret Wars, I would imagine. Not just, key jangles that they can whip out when they're at their most desperate in a couple years' time, which probably won't take that long, all things considered. It's kind of like whenever WWE does a brand split, right? Like they have we're going to have distinct rosters for Raw and SmackDown. And then within a couple of months' time, oh my God, what's Randy Orton doing on Monday Night Raw? Oh my God, King. That's an old fucking reference. It probably doesn't make any sense because Randy Orton was always on Raw. I think he might have been on SmackDown for like a minute. But anyways, you get my drift, right? Like they like to cross over at the moment where they say, don't worry, guys, distinct products, hey, they're going to run independent of one another. But the moment that the ratings drop is the moment that, all of a sudden, yeah, John Cena needs to turn up on all of the programs. And we're going to make him heel because, nobody's watching on Netflix. But then that shit just goes absolutely nowhere at the speed of smell. But hey, start focusing on all the women in the product. And if you don't like it, that's because you're sexist. Wow. It's almost like if you're paying attention to what's going on in wrestling, and you have for a long time now, you could see what ends up happening in Hollywood and the rest of entertainment. It's kind of like you could see all of these old tricks, okay, just relying on too much nostalgia, and how that ultimately ends up hurting your product instead of telling good stories, instead of having compelling characters, instead of rebuilding your roster. Because you remember when Marvel first came onto the scene, they didn't have the rights, or at least the exclusive rights to Spider-Man, to X-Men, to the Fantastic Four. They could work out some kind of a deal with Paramount for the Incredible Hulk, but they had to take Iron Man and Captain America from the B tier and put them up to the S tier. They had to take Thor, which everybody's like, the Norse god? No. Now, if you say Thor to your normie that's out there, they will associate Chris Hemsworth as opposed to a mythological being, which he still is in the comics, but you get my drift. They could do this stuff because they had competent creatives working at the time. But now they can just rely on, it's in the comic book, so that's fine. You comic book dorks that we all drove off because, it wasn't already paying homage to the source material. Now you guys will come back and eat the stuff up because it's from the comic books, right? Because, yeah, Shala Bal's the girlfriend of Norrin Rad, which, yeah, you wouldn't even know that Norrin Rad decided to sacrifice himself and become a Herald of Galactus. Because, guess what? He wanted to sacrifice himself instead of having his planet consumed, okay? He gave up the love of his life just so everybody else didn't have to befall a fate of being consumed by Galactus. G, it almost sounds like the original Silver Surfer that you wanted to throw to the side is more of a hero than the Fantastic Four that you're bringing about. But don't worry, because we have heard, and especially with the confirmation that Galactus wanted, stupid cringe Franklin Richards, that rumor that the female Silver Surfer, the Invisible Woman, and the little fucking baby all team up to push off Galactus for the time being until Mr. Cucktastic can cram everybody into the spaceship and go back and join the proper Marvel universe. Because we also heard it, and I seen it was confirmed that this is Earth 868 or something like that, 818 or something like that. It's a different universe than the proper 616 where the rest of the MCU is taking place. So yeah, that's definitely going to be crossing over, and that's going to be the end of the Fantastic Four movie, where they fail and that they go, and in the end credits scene, Robert Downey Jr. turns up and abducts Franklin Richards. So they end up losing, and then they lose again on top of that. Can't fucking wait. It's going to be so exciting to watch this, and it's going to set up and start Phase 6, guys. Are you excited? Because I know I'm not. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.